Alright, Jake, here you go. You wanted a video review of it, so here's what I got so far. Pretty much put together. I got a few things left to do, really just pretty it up, getting a few little covers and plates made up. This is the gun vise I got for Christmas from Misty. Pretty nice, so we'll go ahead and... Alright, sorry about the workbench, it's a fucking nightmare. I just got done rebuilding that engine and whatnot in my Jeep, so... Alright, let's have a look at this. Take that bad boy off. So, right here you can see the bottom part's actually the piece that secures to the gun. One of the things that I have to work on, probably get done this weekend, is, I don't know if you can see this. Put that on the floor. There's about, there, you can hear it clicking, about 1/8 of an inch wiggle room. That's just because the pivot up in there isn't bolted on yet, so not that big a deal. I used quick steel epoxy, so you can drill and tap that. It just snaps off, push down. See, this is the pivot. You can see how it's not secured, so that just pulls on out. That. And that's the little block in there. Everything screws to. And it needs a little bit of shape, and I'm probably going to end up drilling a couple holes in there and running some bolts. Probably right down through here. Let me grab a ruler for you real quick. So, probably just going to run some bolts about down that way. That way they miss the main tube right there that the bracket sports to, but it'll go through and I'll just run a screw and a bolt through. That way this block won't pop out, because right now it's just epoxied in. I don't really like just gluing parts together, but that's kind of what I got right now. I don't know if you can see it. I sandblasted this whole gun a while back, and you can see kind of in this area right here, it's starting to flash rust again. It's really no big deal. I'll you know, probably hit it with a Brillo pad, or maybe you can just put it back in the blast machine at work before I put a Duracoat finish on there, just to clean it up. So really, some of the stuff that's left to do, yeah, see, just a little bit of flash rust right there. That's not a big deal. Alright, so you can see right up in here, this little gap here, little nick I accidentally took out of it right there, little gap right there, little gap right there. It doesn't really follow the trigger guard super well, but I think I did a pretty good job making it apart from scratch. Doesn't really fit really good right there. Little corner piece doesn't fit. Flip it over. God, how did this get little rust spots on it? I don't know, maybe I spilled some water or something on it last night. I don't know. Anyways, if you look up top, you can see where I had to sand it right there, and then you can see it doesn't quite fit. I mean, it fits the tang reasonably well right there. I took a little more material out than I needed to. The other side was better. That was the, you know, after I got this side made, I was like, okay, well, now I got the procedure down. So I'll fill those in, get those lines cleaned up, get that line cleaned up and filled in. That way this all looks like one piece. And that way, I mean, it's pretty strong. There's nothing to do with strength. It's all just looks. So it doesn't look so hodgepodge. But, yeah, that's what I have left to do there. The fore end, there's a couple things I want to do to it. First and foremost, I'm going to finish up the foregrip. That's not going to take a really long time. One of the big things that I want to try and do, though, and I don't know if I can, I talked to my machinist at work, and he said that the, down here, the barrel thickness right here is insufficient to tap for a choke. I'm kind of fuzzy on the camera. Anyways, so what the deal is with that is basically if I cut threads in it, that would leave the wall of my barrel at roughly 25 thou. So that's way too thin for a barrel. So really my only other option for choking it down would be to swedge it, which is basically you just put it in a draw vise, and you squeeze down the end of the barrel, and that'll make basically just a fixed choke. So I'll probably try and get it to like a full-time modified if I can find a gunsmith that wants to do that or has the ability to. If they do, what I'll end up doing is I'll cut this barrel off to about here, right here. This part right here is, if I cut it here, that'll put it at exactly 18.5 inches on the barrel length, which is well within federal legal guidelines. And, that'll make it easier to handle. It's already a short shotgun, but, that'll be easier for Keith to mess with when he gets older. So, I got that. If they can't, it's fine. I'll just leave it the way it is. I don't really need to. I just think it'd be nice. But let me show you real quick what I'm gonna do for this. Hey, buddy. Oh, thank you. Thank you for grabbing that. Yeah. Go check on your sister for me. All right. So, sorry about that. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Just put this bad boy back on. What the hell? Alright, I can't really do this one-handed. Hold on. Hey, what are you messing with? Alright, sorry about that. Keith's moseying out in the garage thinking he can help. Alright, so here's one of the things I'm contemplating fixing. I don't know if I might just leave it this way or not. So you can look down the back of it. When you're looking down, there's a pretty sizable gap that runs up through here. That part's not what I'm really worried about. What I am going to fix, and I have the material to do, is probably what I'll end up doing this weekend, is I think this looks kind of silly. You got this big hole around here and an itty-bitty barrel running through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little deletion plate that goes around here and covers that up. And that way it'll look clean. I'll have a nice finished piece that goes around the end of the barrel. It'll be a nice stop. And this is actually a channel right here. Right here. So what I might do is when I make that piece, I might just leave an extra long piece that comes up. That'll act as a front side post. Even though this thing is getting optics, I've got a red dot scope I'm putting on it. It's always nice to have backup irons just in case. So that'll look nice. And then, here, let me show you real quick. With the barrel cut down and the foregrip on there. Alright, so the foregrip ends about there. If I cut this barrel down, that'll make it about that long. So, this is going to be a short gun, which is going to work out pretty well, I think. Also, another reason for that plate on the end is, right now, it's not super tight on here, the forward hanger. Oh, damn it. Forward hanger's not super tight. See how it wiggles up and down a little bit? That'll actually secure that. Hey, quit it. And that'll actually bring this level and hold it in place too, so it's a good one. And then what I'll end up doing is drilling and tapping for some screws here, here, and here, and then in the corresponding locations on the other side. That way I got 6 screws holding the foregrip on. Keeping this 2-piece thing together, holding the forward piece in. That way your sight doesn't move around at all. And that way, the optics are secured on there. I'm wanting everything on here to be bolt on. I'm not gluing anything, making it a one piece. I'm not trying to get super crazy with it. Anyways, that's the review. The only problem I can find with this gun, what's interesting, let me back up real quick, is even though this is like a 1920s-ish serial numbered firearm, it still works. If you watch, everything, there you go, there's the safety cock, and then you got full cock. So what I was trying to show you there is on these old guns, a lot of times the safety cock position on the hammer will chip off. It's just a little lip of metal on the face of the hammer that engages with the trigger. So a lot of times that'll shear off and break off, and that makes the internal's a little bit less safe. Really not that big a deal as long as the full cock is still good. But both those pieces are still there. Everything works fine. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of pitting on this gun, considering how rusty it was when I got it. This thing it was actually so nasty that it didn't work at all. You couldn't pull the hammer back to its full position. It wouldn't engage the trigger, and you could almost, the barrel almost wouldn't open. It was so just corroded and gummed up, which I explained earlier, in those other posts. The only problem I can find with the gun is that when you crack the action open, this right here, the lever to open it, it doesn't reset back to a neutral position. It likes to spring over a little more, and that's really not a big deal. All that is the springs in the internals. It just allows it to over travel, but I've already taken it apart, looked at it. It doesn't cause any issues with the gun. It still positively locks, and it's, well, of course you can't see that. It's a really tight action, surprisingly, for what this is, so I'm happy about that. So that's really the only problem. You look down there, you see that's I thought I had everything clean. When I oiled it, it started drawing a little bit more rust from the interior where I couldn't really get to with the blaster, and that is all it is. It's not actual rust, that's just a coating of oil that's rust colored. But let's see if it'll focus. See, that's about the extent of the pitting. That is the worst pitting I can find on this gun, and in all honesty, it's superficial. I'm not even going to worry about blending it out. I could, but if I did that, I would risk, making the action less tight than it is right now, and that's, right now it's just cosmetic. I'm not going to worry about that pitting at all. It's a 410, it's not that big a deal. Stupid camera. Anyways, that's about where I'm at. I'll probably drive on with getting the front piece done this weekend. Like I said, get these secured, get the locking block in here that holds it to the gun. I'll get that bolted on correctly instead of just being glued in there, because that's pretty hokey. Other than that, this is pretty much done. I have the rail system that goes on the top of this. It's it's about this long, so I'll just put a screw here, and maybe one in the middle if I feel like it, and that'll let me put my sights on there. Other than that, that's about it. I've got to order my Duracoating kit, and it's just a spray-on. It takes a little while to cure, which I'm not too sure about that. We'll see. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks to get fully hard, but it's usable within 24 to 48 hours, one of those two. Anyways, what I'm probably going to go with is the dark earth, so I'm going to have the nice black, synthetic stock and fore-end, and then what I'll have is like a really nice dark earth, like a matte dark earth coating on it. So that'll be good. Oh, one more thing. Actually, I did find one issue when I was putting all this together. Now that the foregrip is actually wrapping all the way around the barrel, you can see that it raises this up right here. So this is the original, right here, this is the original sight channel that you would sight down to a forward bead on the end of the barrel, which is actually gone because this barrel's already been shortened about 4 inches. So because it goes all the way over, by the time you put your optics on there, which stick up about that far, what that does is that actually makes you need to take your cheek off the butt here to get a good side picture. But what that does is that breaks your cheek well. You end up having to hold your cheek about 1 inch up. So what I'll do is get on Amazon. I've already found one. I actually got to order it. It's a razor. You've seen them before. It's just a razor butt shake pad that goes on here. And it screws onto these 2 little holes right here. These 2 dudes. And that'll bring it up, 1 inch, 1.5 inches. You can adjust them up and down, and that'll actually bring it back in line. It's really no big deal at all. It's just a little screw-on piece, 2 screws, good to go. And yeah, that'll actually pretty much wrap this up. As soon as it gets nice outside, I'll probably take it to the range. Right now, it's cold and rainy. Welcome to Washington. It sucks. So that's my review. Let me know if you got any other things on here you'd like to see. I'll be happy to show them to you.